Hi everyone, it's Lynn from DevineCentral, and I am here today with video number 9 in my series on teaching kids tarot.
Now, today, I just want to make a few deck recommendations of age-appropriate tarot decks. So let's start by defining what that means in the first place. When we're talking about tender age kids, ages 5 to 9, we need something that's bright and whimsical with simple illustrations, yet with enough imagery on the cards that they can pick out multiple symbols and then make them their own. It would also be nice to find a deck with imagery that appeals to, I don't know, whatever is in their life, like Alice in Wonderland or Hello Kitty or anything about cats or dogs or ponies. And believe you me, there are plenty of them out there. I would also think it would be helpful if you could find a deck with a guidebook that provides simple explanations at their level. Now, oftentimes the little white books, as we call them, are, I don't know, they just fall short of helping parents try to explain to their kids what these cards mean. I mean, if the parent reads the definition or the description and they can't figure it out, then, we know we're in trouble. Because oftentimes the parents are novices too. And this was the case with Annabelle and her mother when they first started. They bought a deck, they sat down with the cards and looked at them all. They read the little white book and laid out the cards and just couldn't figure out where to go from there. So here's just a really brief shameless plug. While I was researching this topic, I discovered that this was a problem. And so I created an ebook called The Little White Book Kid Friendly Edition, a parent and child guide to learning tarot together. And what makes mine a little bit different is that each card description contains a short story or an example that explains the essence of the card's meanings. So, for example, here's the moon. This is what I wrote. Imagine you're alone in your room at night and you hear a strange noise. Your imagination starts to run wild and you might think you see strange shadows or scary creatures hiding in the dark. But it not feels like that. It's about feeling scared, having wild imaginations, and not always knowing what's real. Who do you turn to when that happens to you? Here's another one. It is the Five of Wands. This card shows a group of friends having a little disagreement or friendly competition. Maybe they're arguing over which game to play or who gets to be the leader. It's okay to have different ideas, but remember to be kind and listen to each other. So not only will this help the parents explain the meaning of the card to their children, but it opens up a dialogue between them that other games and toys just can't do. And it's good with any deck. So you can find it below. It's in my Etsy shop. Now, let's move on to the top 3 best decks for age groups, starting with tender age, which would be the 5 to 9-year-olds. Unfortunately, there are so many decks out there now that, I mean, even for kids, that the best decks really are in the eye of the beholder. So if I had to pick 3 decks for you, I would start with, by far, Tarot for Kids by Teresa Reed. Now, if you've been following this series, she was video number 2. I did an interview with her. And she's done a beautiful job of explaining tarot in a fun and simple way, along with the illustrator, Kaylee Whitman. It's just a no-brainer for the younger set. You can find it on Amazon currently at $14.40 for a new deck. And I just saw it at Barnes & Noble as well on the shelf. So Teresa's website also lists other stores that you can actually go in and see the deck. You can find that at thetarotlady.com. Now, the second deck would be Gummy Bear Tarot Deck by Dietmar Bittrich. It's colorful, it's bright, it's based very closely on the Rider-Waite Smith system, which will make it a lot easier for your child to transition to later on when they get older. It comes in a tin and it's considered pocket size, and that makes it perfect for smaller hands. You can find it on Amazon for $14.89 right now, or at least as of this recording. The third deck would be anything, animals. Kids love that stuff. So Cat Tarot by Megan Lynn Kott is really, really cute. I especially like the Hanged Man card. Can you see it here? Anyway, it comes with a 108-page little white book, and you can find it on Amazon for $17.38. Now, let's talk next about the 10 to 14 age group. So we've got our preteens and our teens. And for this age group, I would like to make 2 points. One is that, kids either express an interest in tarot or not. So let them come to you. If they do, just be positive and ask them about their interests, like why and where did they get their interest in tarot? And then I highly recommend you taking them to Barnes and Noble or to a metaphysical shop and letting them touch and feel the cards and just pick whichever one they're drawn to. Secondly, if you are gifting somebody a deck for a birthday present or a Christmas present, be sure to take their reading and their maturity levels into consideration. This is a smart age group. I mean, you'd be surprised, smarter than they ought to be for what's going on in our world right now, right? So they will more than likely choose an adult deck, something that's intellectually stimulating to them. And they may also lean toward the mystical decks because of the beautiful artwork. There are so many themes out there that you just have to let your child pick whatever they're drawn to. So my number one deck by a long shot would be Aunt Lillian's Tarot by Claire Lilly. Now, she was my video number 3 in interview in this series. Claire Lilly and her 11-year-old niece created this deck together. The artwork is simple, yet it's very diverse. My favorite card in this deck is the Strength card. Can you see it here? Look at this beauty. Anyway, her little white book is written for the preteen to teen level, so that's very helpful. And you can find it at clairelilly.com along with all the images, the story behind the deck's creation, and the various sizes because she has large and small decks. The pocket size edition is $33. Now, the second deck that I would recommend for a teen would be any standard Rider-Waite-Smith deck. And you can check them out on Amazon for the various variations of it as well. A.E. Waite and Pamela Coleman Smith created this deck decades ago, and it's still the most popular on the market today. And I recommend it because there are so many YouTube videos that use that deck that it'll just make it easy to find teaching aids or study aids, for it. In recent years, the copyright for this deck expired, and now there's a proliferation of different deck variations, clothing, jewelry, everything with this deck's imagery. You can find them anywhere, but if you're on Amazon, it'd be $14 to $26 depending on the deck that you choose. Now, my third choice would be the Everyday Witch for its humor and its simplicity. It's actually my personal everyday go-to deck. It's perfect for everyday life, nothing super heavy. And in fact, I use this all the time at fairs and festivals. You can find it at Amazon in full size, pocket size, in paper boxes, box sets with a wonderful little white book in it, or tins. They run $11 to $24. Now, I would also like to make a special mention, and that is up on top of the 3 that I just mentioned, is Cozy Witch Tarot by Amanda Lovelace. Now, it's even more appropriate for teens than my beloved Everyday Witch. The pictures are simple yet very modern, very diverse, depicting normal everyday scenes that a teenager would go through. And each card also gives, well, let's call it a little word of advice. It comes in a really nice box, and if you look on Amazon under sellers, new and used, you can find it starting for around $14. All right, so whatever age group that you're buying for, I really think it's important to have highly illustrated decks in the beginning. I mean, kids tend to gravitate toward visual stimulus, and the more symbols in the cards, the more they have to relate to. Now, I use 2 decks when I read for kids, and I always make sure I have one of them with me at all times at these fairs and festivals. I want to show them. I have them in front of me here, and I want to show them to you. I don't necessarily recommend them to be purchased for kids starting out because the imagery is not as strong, and that's okay because I make up for it in my running with them. But one of them, or the first one I want to talk about, is I love this deck. It's called Tarot: The Complete Kit by RunningPress. Okay. Man, the back of the cards are just beautiful. Look, we got one turned around there. But the backs are really pretty. And on the other side, here's let me show you some of the pictures. There's a Knight of Pentacles. Can you see the different colors at the top? Those are the different colors of the suits. So here would be the Knight. Let me see if we can pull one or two. There is the Seven of Pentacles. Oh, look, there's the Devil. You can see they're not real scary. All right, the other deck that I wanted to show you is called Sun and Moon Tarot. And that's by Vanessa Decort. And the backs are black and white. And the pictures are amazing. There's the Eight of Cups. There's the Hierophant. There's the Nine of Cups. Can you see what I'm saying? They're very non-threatening. Six of Swords. So it's really, really a great deck for reading with kids, at least I found. So those are the ones that I use. And as far as where you can get them, I think online is terrific. You can do a lot of research. You can go to local stores and find them at Barnes and Noble, or any metaphysical shop has them. Even gift shops now carry them. If you don't know anything about tarot and you would like some advice, try eclectic.net, or they have, or Pinterest, or Quora, or Reddit, because they have forums there that you can go to ask questions. I've mentioned Amazon a lot in this series because, well, it was quick and easy for me to pull them up and highlight the ones that I wanted. But it's not the only source. Again, like I said, Barnes and Noble have them online as well as in person. Etsy is a great place to find decks, although the prices are usually higher. Some of the nicest decks in my collection actually came from Etsy, because deck creators will oftentimes sell their decks directly. And this is where, you can get some decks on Etsy that you can't even find anyplace else. One last recommendation I'd like to make that comes with a caveat, and that is Temu.net. Now, I've heard all the horror stories about Temu and problems that people have had, but I got to tell you, I've been using them for a long time, and I've had a couple of issues here and there that were always resolved quickly and to my satisfaction. Never had any problems. And again, I shop there all the time. So when it comes to kids of decks, you might want to consider buying some clearance decks from Temu, because kids can be so hard on decks. I mean, think about it. They bend up the cards, they cut them up, they get food on them, they color on them. So the one thing about Temu is they sell both official decks and knockoff decks, or counterfeit decks. And I would implore that you do just a modicum amount of research and make sure that you're buying an official deck. It's just good manners in our community. Now, there's a YouTube video out there spotting fake decks. You can also Google it and stuff will come up there too. All you really have to do to ensure that 95% of the time that you're getting an official deck is do three things. Pull up the same deck on either Amazon or the publisher's warehouse, or in a place that's a trusted source, and compare the picture on the box to the picture on Temu's ad. Then also look at whether or not it's got a little white book, because oftentimes the knockoffs will not have a little white book with it. And third, the card dimensions. I mean, they put them on all the trusted sites, but as well on Temu, and they are usually not the same size. They're cut a little different. So that's a real easy way to tell whether or not you're getting an official deck, or whether you're getting a knockoff. And even then, they might sell both on Temu. So, look for both. All right. So thank you very much for watching this series. This will be the last video in this series. I was going to have a video number 10, but, well, It just didn't pan out on multiple levels, so I'm choosing to end it here. But you might want to check this playlist from time to time because I'm still working on tarot games for kids and adults, and a few other ideas I've got for kids. So I would probably put them in this playlist. Beyond that, if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up because that's how people will find me, and I will see you on the next video. Bye-bye.